Hello and welcome to the Digital Insight, the technology, procurement and supply chain podcast that delivers valuable C-level perspective into the core issues surrounding business transformation and digital disruption. Each episode will bring you the most inspiring executive insights from those who are leading transformation strategies within the world's biggest and best-known companies. The Digital Insight. Disrupt, transform, evolve.
Welcome to the Digital Insight, the official podcast series for Interface and CPO Strategy magazines. This week we feature BT Enterprise, which sells communications and IT services to around 1.2 million businesses and public sector organisations throughout the UK and the Republic of Ireland. We catch up with John Vickery, BT Enterprise's Principal Technology Partner for 5G, Edge Compute and Private Networks, who helps deliver new and innovative outcomes for BT's customers.
So I'm John Vickery. I work in the Enterprise CTIO, the Chief Technology and Information Office. I'm the Principal Technology Partner for 5G, Edge Compute, Private Networks, all these new, innovative, disruptive technologies that are going to help deliver new outcomes for our customers. I look after that as a kind of as a portfolio of innovation, really, for the business. Well, I've been in this role about 5 months. So previously I was the head of products for BT Wholesale. And BT Wholesale we had, in my area, I was the head of mobile products, I had 3 main customers, which was Vodafone, O2 and 3. And basically, you know, these are very important wholesale accounts for us, and it was very mobile centric. I was looking to sort of broaden out and see what other businesses that we work with, and I saw CTIO as an opportunity, and you know, since being in the team, it's absolutely broadened my scope massively. It's like the world's opened up. All of a sudden, we've got 1.2 million business customers to speak to. You know, something like 700,000 SMEs, corporates, major corporates, public sector. You know, defence. Scottish salmon farms, you name it, there is a huge range of businesses, which is just fantastic. So the CTIO is a very unique team in BT. There's one in each line of business. So we've got a global CTIO, a CTIO in consumer, and we've got ourselves in enterprise. And we're a very small team of experts, consultants who can go out and work with customers to really get a deep understanding of their requirements. So in my team, I've got, you know, a specialist who looks at utilities, you know, someone who looks at manufacturing and industrial. We've got, you know, a partner who looks purely at devolved regions, you know, and has excellent relationships with the, you know, the local governments and councils, places like Scotland and Belfast and Wales, to understand what their specific requirements are. And it just gives us a deeper understanding of where they're trying to look to technology to solve their issues. How do they improve their productivity? How do they take people out of a process? How do they transform their costs? And, you know, they're looking to partners to kind of give them the answers, because they're wondering, you know, how we're going to pick the right technology. So, you know, we've been told we need edge compute. Why do we need it? If we invest in edge, is it just going to be a black hole where all of our money is going to end up disappearing? So we're the kind of business, a technology business, who can give the answers and give them the confidence to invest in the right areas. BT at the moment are going, you know, we're going beyond connectivity. Beyond limits is our new strapline, and we're going beyond limits to deliver digital transformation for our customers. And 5G is just one part of it. So 5G is like the glue that brings everything together, if you like, but it's not the be all and end all. We've got a lot of other capability as well, and we're looking to bring that together to deliver real outcomes for our business customers. So AI, IoT, data, cloud, edge compute, you know, 5G brings all of that together into a single ecosystem, so we can deliver the technology capabilities that our customers need to achieve these outcomes. And these outcomes are, they want to improve their bottom line, they want to sell more product, they want better insights, they can make better strategic decisions, they want, you know, productivity improvements. And we're trying to shift our business from being seen as a business who just delivers connectivity products, we can sell you broadband, Ethernet, SIM cards, to a business who can really deliver and assure those outcomes. because at the moment these businesses don't have the confidence to invest. So we're going to bring the whole proposition to give them that confidence. And if we need to, we'd love to develop a proposition where we can actually commit and assure those outcomes on an SLA basis. When you're dealing with a line of business as big as enterprise, where you've got a huge amount of small medium enterprise customers who have got specific needs, we can deliver a great 5G in building proposition that will work perfectly well for corporates. But what do we do for Jane's Cafe or Leslie's Cafe on the corner? And at the moment she's got no in-building connectivity, and actually everybody's going down to Steve's Cafe because when they sit there having their breakfast they want to watch the football, or they want to catch up on their emails. And we really need to focus on those businesses just as much. And some of the technologies that we're working with around virtualization are helping us deliver the unit economics so we can provide in-building connectivity for a cafe, a restaurant. At the moment people talk about 5G in-building campus networks. They're talking about airports, they're talking about ports, we're talking about big conference centres, and these are businesses with the budget to really deliver that capability for their customers. But someone like BT has got the ability to go far beyond that and start thinking about every single business in the UK, so we can help the whole country improve in those technology areas. Well, we've just done a huge use case trial with Belfast Harbour. So Belfast Harbour is like a 2,000 acre port. It's massive. The amount of space that it covers is just huge. And they've got university campuses there. They've got the Game of Thrones studio tour. They've got the Titanic Belfast Museum. You've got the historical harbour office. They've actually got the Titanic captain's table that would never made it to the Titanic in the foyer as you walk in. This is a really cool place, a really cool customer, and but kind of juxtaposed against that history, they've got real ambition to drive and innovate with technology. And we've done some really cool stuff with them. We delivered the fastest 5G network into the harbour that we've ever delivered. Within 6 weeks we had 5 carriers of 4G and 5G over the top. We're delivering 700-800 megabits per second, and it's enabling their engineers to wear a real wear headset, and they can go and do the crane maintenance routines through augmented reality. So essentially all of their workflows are loaded on the software. We're working with our partner Ubimax, and they've loaded on all of the workflows, all of the processes, and these AR headsets can identify they're at the right place. When they've finished that maintenance check, it will check it off. If they come across a problem or there's a fault, they can push a button. They're immediately connected to a remote expert, and it just helps them set themselves up for the future so they can increase their productivity, for these kind of engineering tasks. And that's just the start of it. I mean, we did another use case there with immersive kind of reality to attract people to the port, so they can wear a 360-degree virtual reality headset and they almost take a virtual tour of the port area, and that attracts new tenants. But obviously, as we move on and evolve that relationship, we've seen, I was actually in Zurich speaking to a company called ZPMC who are doing remote crane operations. So for remote cranes, you actually you need about 30 cameras to be able to operate that crane remotely from a control room. And these cameras combined will need 1 gigabit per second on the uplink, which is massive. Only 5G can provide that. This isn't a kind of use case where actually if you had a really good 4G signal it would work. This is really sort of disruptive use case which needs pure 5G to make it work. So you need a consistent latency of 18 milliseconds. And when you see a use case like that and think, you're taking people out of a dangerous situation, they're in a crane, they've got to climb up the crane every morning. So you're pulling people out of the process and centralising your operations. But at the same time, you're increasing your productivity because that crane driver's moved a container, then he has to wait in there for the next one to come along. You could have a crane operator who can be working 2 or 3 cranes from a control room, and that increases productivity, increases the bottom line for the customers. There's a whole host of additional use cases using augmented reality, digital twins, asset tracking. The ideas that we've seen coming out of just one area, a port, is astounding. When you start translating that to other industries, we do a port use case with remote crane maintenance as an example, and then there's a construction company. They're looking at it and they read it in the newspaper and they say, wow, look what BT are doing. Could that help our business? And they might phone up their account manager and say, BT, what are you doing with cranes in ports? Because actually we're interested from a customer perspective. And that's what we're doing. We're looking at the horizontal capabilities that have application across multiple verticals. So we can make it bespoke, we can work with our customers and make it work for them. But the capabilities that we invest in and develop and build, we can use over a whole range of sectors. And that's really where the strength lies in the scale of BT. The great thing about EE were first in the UK to deploy 5G. We launched 5G back in May. And being the first in the UK to launch 5G was excellent from an enterprise perspective. Obviously, it was an EE branded launch, Stormzy on the Thames, fantastic achievement for everybody involved. The great thing for enterprise is that it means we can immediately start getting out and talking to customers where we've deployed. So we've deployed 5G in Belfast. There's a lot of small medium enterprises who work in the harbour areas where we've built 5G. Birmingham, huge amount of opportunity there. I know in Aston, around Aston University, there's an innovation hub where lots of new startup businesses operate. And I was speaking to a customer last week who said, come down and speak to these guys and find out what they need and find out how they want to use 5G. And it's about that dialogue. What do you want? How can edge compute help you? How can AI help you? How can cloud help you? And move it on from, okay, actually, if I want to use 5G, I've just got to buy an EE handset and get the best out of it. What we're trying to do is build a proposition for those SMEs so they can pick from a sort of modular set of capabilities and we can package it up into a proposal that works for them. Security is a huge part of our portfolio. We're actually leaders in cybersecurity. We're a really trusted brand. And I think that's important for our customers, especially when they've got critical data that they need to move around. It might be that they're a healthcare company and they've got patient data, and we can look at new technologies like edge compute, where you can give people pure data sovereignty. You can store all their data locally, you can run the applications locally, and you can use the public cloud when you need to. And that's not to undermine the security of our network anyway. The network is secure end to end, but a lot of customers, feel a lot more confident if they can localize their data. And that is one of the use cases around edge compute. There's a few themes that you could look at for edge, reducing backhaul costs for these customers. So for instance, say you've got a load of video data, you've got surveillance cameras, it's all high definition. You could render that, back in the public cloud, but you're going to need a big pipe to transmit all that video data back to the core network. So there might be a use case to, put some compute on premise and do all that, the analysing of the data and the video and the rendering locally. So security, data sovereignty, through to reducing backhaul costs to lowering your latency. Every customer needs something different, and we just work with each customer to understand what their specific needs are and make sure we've got a proposition and that horizontal capability that works for them. Healthcare has been one of our big focus areas. What we're looking at is trying to be a service integrator for our NHS customers. One of the things we've been looking at in Birmingham is a connected ambulance. And we were the first to deliver a kind of 5G use case for ambulances, where you have a trained sonographer who's in the hospital. The paramedic isn't trained in doing sonography, but through the use of a haptic glove, the sonographer within the hospital can control a joystick, and that will give the paramedic signals in the hand on where to move the scanner. And it's crucial for these situations where the doctor or the paramedic doesn't know where to take that patient, and they can give them insights into which hospital to take them to. They can say, look, don't bring them into the hospital, you need to take them somewhere else. And it's almost taking the diagnostics to the patient rather than vice versa. I can't remember what the statistic was, but I think something like 20% of traffic in that area was generated from the hospital. That's either patients, doctors, travelling to and from the hospital. So if you can start bringing the diagnostics and the clinical care to the patient remotely over 5G, then you remove the traffic on the roads, you improve the environment. I think probably the key challenge is making the business case work, because historically 4G, 3G, 2G has been about consumer products. So, you bought a device, 2G, SIM card, you used it, you made some calls, 2G, 3G, you maybe had a bit of data, they promised some video calling, but no one really used it because it was a bit pixely. 4G, people started to really use video calling, but they were all consumer applications. 5G is built for enterprise. As I mentioned earlier, it combines all of your AI, your cloud, your edge compute, your data into a single ecosystem. It's the glue that pulls all that together. And what we need to be doing is really penetrating ourselves more deeply into these sectors. Let's go and speak to the utilities companies and find out how they can use IoT over 5G to reduce leaks, in the water, or improve the productivity of their power networks, and have a look at each sector and build a plan for them, and then have a look at everything that we want to build to deliver that end result, that outcome, and figure out, okay, well, what platforms do we need to support that? And we're working with some really innovative partners to help us deliver those ambitions. Partnerships are hugely important, and I'll just kind of talk quickly about where that fits into our to our ambition, because we're very, very strong in connectivity. Everybody can appreciate that. We've got great managed service capability. We can do all the whole end-to-end orchestration piece. Where we're moving into is around the compute, the cloud, and the edge. And then obviously we want great application developers and device partners to be able to plug into that ecosystem. So we want to create an edge ecosystem where application partners can very easily distribute their software for our customers. So we really need to work with partners in that space, in the edge space, in the application space, and the devices space. One of the companies we're working with at the moment from a research perspective is Mobile Edge X, and they have got the ability to deliver sort of globally orchestrated edge cloud. So it makes it very easy for application developers to distribute their software on a global level, working with partners like BT to provide all the underlying connectivity and the orchestration around that. And that's a really interesting proposition. That's something we're following very closely, and we've just kicked off a partnership with those guys, with the research teams. Some of the other things we're looking at around convergence. So we always get asked this question: do I need 5G in building? Do I need Wi-Fi 6? Obviously, we're huge Wi-Fi business, huge Wi-Fi provider. We're also a major 5G operator, the leading 5G network operator. When our customers ask us, do I need 5G in my building? Do I need Wi-Fi 6? We just talk about what the differences are and what the benefits are. Where convergence takes us is, well, actually, you can use both. You can have Wi-Fi and you can use 5G, and you can get the best experience possible on that device through the innovations that we're doing with people like Casa Systems in our core network. Will enable people to go into a building. If the Wi-Fi is, sometimes you go onto Wi-Fi and you're like, oh, that's a bit shoddy. You turn it off, you hand over to your 4G or your 5G, and that's a lot better experience. Well, your phone will be able to do that without you having to mess around and start logging into things. And that's where we're going, and it's about the customer experience, about the user experience. That's where we're taking it, because people shouldn't have to care whether they want 5G or whether they want Wi-Fi 6 or, what we want to make happen is that we just give them a solution and it just works out the box and they get the best possible experience wherever they are. And that's the kind of innovations that we're doing with these partners from our research teams and then turning it into, industrializable products for our customers. So a really interesting area for enterprise is our wholesale division. Now we're part of the same line of business. So there is a model for in-building connectivity which is experiencing, exponential growth, and it's called neutral host. So if you imagine you're a customer, we talked about Leslie's Corner Cafe earlier. So Leslie wants, she wants connectivity, but actually she can't discriminate what network the people who come into a cafe are on. Some of them will be on Vodafone, some of them will be on O2, some of them will be on 3. Now we've got, a great track record of providing backhaul connectivity for the mobile operators on a wholesale basis. We've got a huge core network, and obviously that capability lends itself very well to this concept of neutral host. So ultimately what we want to deliver is, a radio for Leslie's Corner Cafe, where she can just plug it into a ceiling, plug it into a broadband, and it gives the people in her cafe multi-operator connectivity. Now that is not an easy thing to do, but there is a group called JOTS, which is the Joint Operator Technical Specifications Group, and they set the standard for multi-operator systems in the UK, and we're working very closely with them to innovate on new disruptive ways of achieving that goal. And one of the partners we're working with is called Mavenir, and they're really pioneering the neutral host model for virtualized RAN. So virtualized RAN is part of the Open RAN standards. There's a group called ORAN Alliance, which BT have just joined. So, we're really supporting the move towards open interfaces for mobile. And neutral host is probably the first and the most compelling use case for virtualized RAN that I've seen, because what it means for the operators is they don't need to work together. With virtualized RAN, each operator can have a logically separated network end to end, but they can deliver that network over common infrastructure. And that means that it enables them to get into locations which would have previously been sort of outside of their budget. And even better, it enables these customers, business customers, to be able to deliver in-building connectivity where they've got the public coming in and out freely, and at an affordable price, because at the moment the only way to do it is to buy big, expensive distributed antenna systems. And what we're looking for is to use this new disruptive virtualized RAN, open RAN technology to help us scale down neutral host multi-operator systems to enable smaller businesses, to purchase it. But we're still looking at the larger premises, the larger campus networks as well on a neutral host basis. So one of the customers that we're working with runs multi-tenanted office spaces. So you're trying to sell office space, you want there to be excellent connectivity. Say you're a property company and your main target customer are tech firms. They want great 5G, they want great in-building connectivity, they want great services, building property services, smart security and all that stuff. You want to put in a platform that can meet their needs. But actually one company who comes they're locked into a 5-year contract with Vodafone, another one is locked into a contract with O2. And they're looking at neutral hosts as well to help them deliver what their customers need. So we're working with bigger clients as well, really driving the neutral host model. So that's one of the things we're doing in wholesale. But one of the key partners we're working with there is Mavenir. So what our customers are really loving about the change that we're making as a business is that, certainly in CTIO, we're the most agile team in the business. We're a small team, we're like a startup. We obviously work with the account teams to deliver these, this co-creation, this collaboration with our customers. But it's also great for colleagues too. I mean, everybody loves to innovate at work. People love coming to work and thinking, actually, I'm doing something no one's ever done before. We're delivering world firsts. So, certainly the CTIO model is enabling us to have deeper relationships with customers. It's helping us deliver, better experience for our colleagues. They're really engaged and motivated to come to work. But ultimately, it's what we deliver, for the UK as a whole. What we want to do is improve our productivity versus the rest of the world. We want our businesses to be pioneers on the global stage. So helping them find the right partners, giving them the confidence to invest that can deliver those business outcomes is great for the UK as a whole. You know, we're going beyond connectivity. We're helping give our customers confidence around trust, identity, security, ultimately protecting the UK and protecting the citizens of the UK. And I think that's what going beyond limits is all about. We're trying to change perception of our customers that we can deliver a lot more than just connectivity, and we can deliver exactly what they need to be a prosperous company on the global stage.
Thank you for listening to the Digital Insight Podcast in association with the Interface.net and CPOstrategy.com. The Digital Insight is brought to you by B2E Media Limited. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please remember to subscribe, rate and review. And don't forget to check out our podcast archive at www.b2e-media.com/The Digital Insight.